I'm going to show you what the Masons say themselves. I'm in the book Ancient Mystic Oriental Masonry, its teachings, rules, laws, and present usages which govern in the order at the present day. True Masonry and the Universal Brotherhood of Man are one. Alright? By Dr. R. Swinburne Clymer, author of the Rosicrucians, their teachings, the philosophy of fire. Alright? This is deep. This is deep stuff right here. So we go to page 25 of this book, right? And we go to this second paragraph right here. Let me zoom in. Now listen to what it says. The cradle of symbolism used in all masonry. All right? Remember, they found the square and the compass, the square and the circle, and all these Masonic relics, these artifacts, prehistoric in America, in California, and Arizona, and all these places, all over the place. All right, these symbols, right? Symbolism, the symbolism used in old masonry is placed by many of the best authorities in that country, which they believe was first inhabited. For example, the plateau of Tartary, and from there transmitted to this generation by the sages of India, Persia, Ethiopia, and Egypt. Now look what he's going to say right here. He says, we are not indebted to either ancient Egypt for either religion or masonry, but to America. All right, so who gets the credit? You owe the credit to who? To America. For what? Religion or masonry? America. Yeah, unfortunately religion too, right? Or spiritualism. We are not indebted to either ancient Egypt for either religion or masonry, but to America. Listen to this. It is a fact that at Memphis, Egypt, the real one, Mississippi, and the pyramids, the mounds, the pyramids, under the guidance of the kings, the mystic rites of masonry were worked many thousands of years ago. But at that time, Egypt and the continent of America, again, but at that time, Egypt and the continent of America were one and the same. Were one and the same. Okay, it is the same. America, Egypt is the same. They're telling you right here. Who is to be credited with masonry? America. America. At that time, Egypt and the continent of America were one and the same. These are Masons telling you. And America, rediscovered in the 15th century and repopulated in the 17th, was recovered Egypt. They recovered what? The real Egypt, or Tamari. They recovered. And the promised land. They recovered the promised land. So when they're saying Phoenicians coming out of over there, Israel is not a location. Israel was a people. Israel was a family, like saying the Johnsons, the Israelites. Yeah, that's Jacob's kids. It wasn't a landmass. You can't say the Phoenicians came out of Israel. That's not even right. That don't even make sense. Because this is the true promised land anyways. The Masons are telling you right here. In America, they recovered what? Egypt and the promised land, or the land of the constellation of the eagle. Isaiah, okay? Now they're telling you, it keeps going, that something happened in America. And secondly, with the consequent wrecking of the continent of America when the globe became involved in the consequences of disorder of the skies. Disorder of the skies. What happened? Did the Dracons come after you? America, known to the mystics as what? As what? Atlantis. I've been trying to tell you, this is Atlantis. It's not me saying it. Ask a Mason with high degrees. They'll tell you, America, known to the mystic as Atlantis, when this ruin befell, was the seat of the greatest empire. America, right? The seat of the greatest empire, and its irresistible armies were terrorizing all of Europe and Asia. All right, remember the Greeks? They were like, no, they're coming to get us. This was the greatest empire in America. The Masons know this. This is their book. Continuing, when following the course of the constellations, those immovably and perpetually fastened upon America reached, it will appear that while all that is sublime in the historic past centers upon Egypt, all that is sublime in the prehistoric past centers upon America. Atlantis. Okay? Atlantis. And as the current which has hitherto concealed the prehistoric connection between the peoples of ancient Egypt and of America is lifted, it will be seen that the people of the eagle on the Nile, being descended from the original people of the eagle on this continent, they are descended from us over here. It's not the other way around. The twain are one in that prehistoric America was the original Egypt. Again, that prehistoric America was the original Egypt or Eagle Land prior to the mighty dispensation, the days of Peleg, all right, when the lands were separated, when the earth was divided, and the great globe itself was nearly rent asunder. What did Agassiz says? Remember what Agassiz says, the most famous geologist. We got this already in previous past videos. Says Agassiz, firstborn among the continents, America has been falsely denominated the New World, has been falsely. It's not a new world, it's the old world. Hers was the first dry land lifted out of the waters. First land that came out of the primordial waters. You understand that? Hers was the first shore washed by the ocean that enveloped all the earth beside. And while Europe was represented only by islands rising here and there above the sea, America, or Atlantis, already stretched in an unbroken line of land from Nova Scotia to the far west. America was evidently people from the old continent, from the old world. All right? Just to be clear, Masonry did start over here. That's why they're finding those symbols over here. It's not a debate. Okay?
And it says here, the Annex Cut is an extract from Sampson's map of America, showing views respecting the New World as constituting the island of Atlantis, alright? The New World? No, it's the Old World because it is Atlantis, alright? It is called Atlantis Insula or Atlantis Island of Nicolau Sanson. It says Uri Coechea in the Matopeca Columbana puts this map under 1600 and speaks of a second edition in 1688. All right, this is from the 1600s, which must be an error. It must be an error. Oh, all right, so it must be an error. So they're saying, you know, this is from the 1600s, and they're trying to talk about the date. But it says Harvard College Library possesses a copy of this, and they changed the words. They literally changed the words, and that was later on, 1741. And again, this is from a very scholarly book. You know, when we're talking about Atlantis, see the ATL, that's a Nahuatl word. ATL, that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. That's Nahuatl, or that's a American dialect. Now, this book is called The New Atlantis. It says here, begun by the Lord Verulam, Viscount St. Albans, and continued by R.H. Esquire. Actually, this book is very famous because it was written by Francis Bacon. All right. So-called Francis Bacon. All right, who's Francis Bacon? Is that really Shakespeare? Some say it is. All right, Francis Bacon, and he wrote this in 1660. Bacon is a Sephardic Jewish name. Bacon, Francis Bacon was a Sephardic Jew, a crypto Jew. And I'm going to page 2 right here, and just again, real quick, we're gonna get it. You know, just to correlate, and just zoom in one more time. All right, it says the next day's conference relates how that, though they lived remote and unknown to all other nations, yet they had the knowledge of the languages, books, and affairs of those that lie at farthest distance. How the great Atlantis, which we call America. All right, again, how the great Atlantis, which we actually call America. Atlantis is America. Remember, Atlantis, that's how they added the tis. ATL, that's a Nahuatl word. Atlantis, which we call America, abounded once in tall ships. How the people of Peru, through the South Sea, and those of Mexico through the Atlantic to the Mediterranean Sea, did both in 10 years' space make 2 great expeditions upon Ben Salem. But by the valor of one Altaban king thereof, a wife and great warrior, who cut off their land forces from their ships, and entoiled both their navies and camps with greater force by sea and land, were repulsed and dismissed by him when they were at his mercy. All right, so again, just want to go ahead and just remind you that when we talk about Atlantis, which we call America, that's basically what we're talking about. We're talking about the true old world.
I want to finish up with this book, Atlantis in America, by Ivor Sapp and George Erickson. I'm going to page 9. It says here, to many minds, the stories of myth were revived by these startling discoveries. Christopher Columbus even suggested that he might have discovered the original Garden of Eden. We already got that, right? The Church of Rome recoiled at that notion. State authorities and historians of the Age of Reason, who had long dismissed myth as a conduit of knowledge, similarly dismissed the Americas as a site of significant ancient civilization. So, you see, they were dismissing it on purpose. But did not the discovery of so vast and sophisticated an empire at America's heart require the rational sciences to at least consider these civilizations as an important link in man's cultural history? The Catholic Church and conventional science both answered that essential question in the negative, so they didn't want to, right, purposely. In the 16th century, the Church of the Inquisition decreed that the peoples of the Americas were too primitive. Their city-states were judged more recent than Jesus Christ and the civilizations of the Mediterranean that had preceded him. So you see that they just gave us a more recent time. But it's all made up. This chronology, everything is all made up. In the 20th century, American archaeology echoed that edict by declaring that the ancient Maya emerged from barbarism during the 1st or 2nd century of the Christian era. They were judged too recent and too pagan to have played a significant role in the development of worldwide civilization. So you see that? They're taking credit from people who did originate civilization. All right. In fact, the constructions of ancient American cultures not only had similar means of design in their star temples to those found in the Middle East, they had earlier devised a mathematics superior to any other in the world. However, while admitting these advanced civilizations were remarkable and surely older than some cities in Europe, historians soon pronounced that their constructions were not the equal of ancient sites in Egypt or Mesopotamia. Experts assured that a Eurocentric world that the American city-states had not been occasioned by a long period of development, but had somehow spontaneously sprung from a more primitive people dubbed inspired savages by historians. See what they call you, right? Inspired savages. The possibility that the advanced cultures of the Old World and the New World could have been interrelated was dismissed and impossible and preposterous. All right, so they made sure they had a plan, they had an agenda when they were doing all this. All right, they weren't just doing this because they were stupid, they were doing this on purpose. Quashing all speculation that the step pyramid builders of the Americas could have been related to the ancient Middle East, archaeologists pronounced that the construction of even the crudest temples in the Americas had not begun until after the pyramid building had ceased in Egypt, Sumer, and in Sumer's recipient cultures of Babylon and Akkad. But we already know that's false. We just got it from Smithsonian.com, right? Caral Supe. These simplistic declarations have been proven false. All right, we've already seen that. These simplistic declarations, we have proven that false. All right, this is false, people. All right, you want to keep believing over there in Egypt, Kemet, and all that, it's all the Babylonian. It's false. These simplistic declarations have been proven false. Only in the last few decades of this century have we realized that the known Maya sites are much older than previously thought, reaching back over 4,000 years at Cuello in, all right, this is the Age of Discovery says here, this is the reconstruction of the Temple of Marduk in Babylon, it says, 600 BC. And this is reconstruction of the Piedras Negras site, all right, and Usumantat River. All right, this is a Mayan temple. Look at how extensive, how massive this is. All right. All right, so this continues. Says, in beliefs or recognize that the Olmecs were building pyramids and great stone megaliths for thousands of years before the classic Maya built their cities. Discovery after discovery has revealed that the accepted dates for civilization in the Americas are very wrong. Thank you, UB2 News and Cartography for showing this, the false chronology we've been living. It says, at Chan Chan in Peru, Chavin culture, instead of sudden emergence, displays a continual line of development of a naval culture that dates back over 8,000 years. Pedra Furada in Brazil is now known to have supported a diverse culture over 12,000 years ago. Monteverde in Chile is at least that old, and many have supported a navigational culture of 32,000 years ago. Without a doubt, civilizations in the Americas go back further than established dates for Mesopotamia or Egypt. Again, without a doubt, and we already got it from Smithsonian.com, right, in popular archaeology. But Ivor Sapp, right, Atlantis in America, telling us, without a doubt, civilizations in the Americas go back further than established dates for Mesopotamia or Egypt.
8,000-year-old mummies in Peru predate identical embalmed Egyptian mummies by 3,000 years, and we got that right. The Chinchorro mummies in Chile and Peru, one of them goes back almost up to believe 9,000 years ago. We just got right here 8,000 years ago, right? Residue of Holy American tobacco and cocaine recently discovered in 5,000-year-old mummies in Egypt and in the Sudan established evidence of contact between the Old and New World thousands of years before Christ. Again, the appearance of a genetically American cotton in Asia 10,000 years ago and evidence of coconut, sweet potatoes, and the American parrot in the Pacific and in Asia 12,000 years ago all confirm a repeated worldwide contact of cultures that could only have been accomplished by navigation. The great megalithic structures of the Americas, the spheres of Costa Rica, the Great Wall of Sacsayhuaman in Peru, Sacsayhuaman, the fortress. Saw my City of David video. Is this the City of David, the citadel, the fortress, Sacsayhuaman? And the Observatory of Calasaya near Tijuanacu in Bolivia defy the dates assigned to the origins of civilization by our contemporary model.